Hey, welcome back to Console Crapshoot. It's the thing where we spin a wheel to play a random video game on original hardware. Last week was a lot of fun. That's been one of my favorite episodes to edit so far. Oh, alright, we're going to be playing the PlayStation Vita today. I do have a Vita here, but for the sake of capturing, we are going to be playing on the PlayStation TV, which is basically a Vita. We've got 1,013 games on the Vita wheel. Tokyo Xanadu. I don't know anything about this one. Looks like it's got some heavy anime vibes. First of all, I should mention, I looked this game up, I saw some video reviews about it, and the guy kept pronouncing it Tokyo Xanadu. I am pronouncing it Xanadu because a little bit before my time, but there was a crazy, insane disco fantasy movie called Xanadu. Xanadu made no sense, and it's pretty unwatchable, but the name is in my head, and this is Tokyo Xanadu. This was made by Nihon Falcom, who I am sort of familiar with because they make the Ys series. Ys is a series of action role-playing games, very popular ones from Japan, and they made Tokyo Xanadu as sort of a departure to get away from that and to do something new. So it's got very melodramatic, high school Japanese anime vibes. This game is, how do I say, boring. And it's not a poorly made game. Like, it looks good, it sounds good. I guess it's just the style of game doesn't really resonate with me. I didn't get to do any combat or actually play the game for about an hour and a half. There's a ton of minutia and meaningless crap. It's you in class, going to school, learning the relationships between people, doing little tasks and chores, walking around the school, then going into town. You go to a job, you have to go to work, and it has nothing to do with the actual conflict in the story. And don't get me wrong, I love world building. My favorite series, my favorite trilogy of games is Mass Effect. And my favorite part of Mass Effect is the world building. I love going around and talking to the characters, learning the history of the different races. I'll go into the computers and read every bit of lore in that world. But that's exciting sci-fi world building. This game, all that stuff is, learning who's related to who has a crush on what teacher. It's just boring. Again, I don't need action all the time. I dig me some story, but this is dull and monotonous. So I played this game for an hour and a half. I started getting sleepy because I play these games when I get home from work, and I work a late shift, so I'm tired when I get home. I played this game 5 nights in a row, and every single night I either fell asleep with the controller in my hand or nodded off and had to turn it off. So with that said, after the first night, after the hour and a half, I actually got to a dungeon, a part where the action started happening. And I will say that part of this game, really, really good. It seems a little overwhelming on the surface because of all those little prompts explaining new mechanics, but in practice, the battle mechanic and the gameplay is actually pretty simple, and it's really fun and addictive. You level up pretty quick, you have cool attacks, you can switch really fast between the different characters, and the different characters aren't just kind of clones of each other with the same moves and a different skin. One might be better than the other for certain situations. And I don't mean to entirely dump on the story either, because the story related to the important stuff is actually pretty good, or at least the part of the story that matters. And yeah, I hate to bring up Mass Effect again, but in that series, yeah, there are little side quests that don't matter, really. But each of those side quests sort of unveils some more lore about the universe. In this game, I don't learn anything by some girl in the high school losing her wallet and then me going to have to find it and bring it to her. It's just cutesy busy work. And I will be honest, by the 4th night, it did start to pick up more. I don't know if it was because I was speeding through the text or because the action was picking up a little bit. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm dumping on it too much, because underneath that part of the game that bothered me was a really good game. And for you, that part might not bother you. You might be into that. This game has really good reviews. It's well made, and it's got that classic anime high school strange sexual tension, that weird creepiness factor that everybody loves. And I'll be honest, I love it too. It's so weird. But I think we're at the point now where we should give a rating to Tokyo Xanadu on the PlayStation Vita. I did get a lot further in this game than I'm showing here because I had to stop recording at some point. I have hours and hours of me having pointless, awkward conversations with pop stars, karate teachers, and librarians, and tons of video of me just standing there because I fell asleep. But this is a good game. If you have a Vita and you want to sink your teeth into a cool Japanese RPG, I'd actually recommend it, with the caveat that there's tons of stuff that you might find boring, you might not. It's not good if you're trying to edit a new episode about a different video game every week. It's violently Japanese, it's profoundly Japanese, and that can be really fun. If the story was a little tighter, a little more reined in, a lot of the monotonous tasks were toned down, and a little more world building on the actual subject matter of the story, this would be an easy 4 out of 5 for me. But that wasn't the case. It was just a little too much dilly-dallying than I have a tolerance for. But with that said, this is going to be a 3 out of 5. Good game, in some ways great, but that's what I thought. Do any of you have any experience with this game? Did you feel the same way? Did you absolutely love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments. Alright, another episode is in the books, and that means we are up to episode 50 next week. Huge milestone. I'd like to thank everyone who's been riding with me this whole time. Also, this coming week will mark exactly 1 year since episode 1. This has been really fun for me to do all year. So thanks again, everyone. We will see you next week.